Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening from wherever you may be listening, whatever time it may be. My name is Ryan Dooley. That is my co host, Justin Baker, and we are your hosts for Let's Talk Reds. Justin, the Reds win Series 1 of the 2026 season after losing on opening day. They take games 2 and 3 in Cincinnati against the Boston Red Sox, who are looked at as one of the powerhouses in the American League. We will dive into all that in this episode, including a preview of the next series against the Pirates. But first off, Justin, how are
I'm just an absolute ball of joy
you?
today. I can't be more excited.
If you guys didn't know, we're also big UC baseball fans, and they had a little of a tougher weekend against Kansas. Not to mention, personally, me and him have not had the greatest of days. So, but it's okay because the Reds won. Although we'll talk about heart attack closer Emilio Pagan and his games that he came in, including games 2 and 3, both wins. But let's open with game one, Justin. I was there. It was opening day in Cincinnati. Kind of last second, even when we recorded the show that morning, I didn't have tickets. Kind of had a buddy text me and say, "Got an extra ticket? You want to go?" I said, "Absolutely." Went down. That was a good time. Where'd you watch the game from? You watch it from the apartment?
I watched it on my phone at Skyline Chili and in the team room at the baseball facility because I was there the entire game.
That's right. That's right. Kansas was coming to practice. Forgot that's why you couldn't go. That is correct. Um, Game one went about as terribly as it could have. I don't think there's much more to say about that. Um, Obviously, with being there, it was a lot of fun to see the experience, see a packed stadium, a lot of cool pregame stuff. Good to see Suarez get a nice ovation from the crowd, but man, the play on the field was just. I mean, it really, really did look like it looked like we did nothing. It was nothing different from the 25 season of some of the lows we saw there of guys not being able to get on base. Guys like we had 4 hits and 3 of them were from South Stewart. Um, I know we talked about in the opening day preview episode that I think we mentioned in the episode that if Crochet is pitching in the 6th inning, the Reds are going to lose this game. Well, what hurts that is when you have a 4 pitch first inning against Garrett Crochet, and like the innings were so short with him, is the guys weren't working counts and not seeing any pitches. Like you have to get Crochet. I know they have a good bullpen, but you have to get Crochet out of that game early, especially on opening day where his pitch count isn't going to be that high anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that game went exactly how I kind of figured it was going to go, and kind of what I said in the other episode that um, we're going to struggle against Garrett Crochet, most likely, just because this team is not good at hitting left-handed pitching compared to right-handed pitching. Um, but I don't know. It was a rough game. There were chances for them to score, and they just didn't capitalize on it. I believe the 6th inning when Crochet had the bases loaded,
Yeah.
and Suarez ended up not being able to come through. So like there were chances in that game for them to score. It's just some of the hits that they had and later on in the series just never really showed up in that game. And yeah, I mean it did kind of go exactly how we thought. Uh, Only getting 3 pitchers to come out of their bullpen is not ideal. They only had to cover the seventh, eighth, and ninth, and it was their 3 best guys.
Yep.
So that's gonna be tough sledding whenever that's happening during a game. But
Now, I believe on the pregame show, I gave the exact Red Sox pitching plan to victory, and I think I got it completely right. I don't remember if I had Slayton in there. I don't remember if I threw him in there or not, but the Red Sox played this game exactly how they could have drawn it up before the game. Like they went Crochet to Slayton to Whitlock to Chapman. That is how they would want to do that every single time, every game that Crochet is pitching, and the Reds just kind of let it happen. Like I said, 4 pitches in the first inning. Like you can't do that. And none of them were particularly good at bats either. Like Ellie is breaking his bat on the first pitch of the at bat on a little like flare. Like that is not a good way to start the season, especially when the offense is kind of the thing being put under the microscope of how is this Reds team going to perform. Did have a couple notes from this game that I'll kind of touch on and we can keep talking about. So yeah, can't have short innings versus Crochet. positive early on, Andrew Abbott looked as good as he did last year. The spring training stuff we kind of thought was going to be not something to worry about. He was just kind of working through some stuff, trying out some new pitches, maybe a couple different ways to attack hitters. Look fine, look completely fine against this Red Sox offense. Um, let's see. I have a final line on here. Yeah, six innings, 7 hits, 1 walk, 4 Ks, no earned runs. Yeah, I mean, he was what we were hoping to see, especially with a lot of people expecting regression out of him this year.
Yeah, I mean, when I was talking about Andrew Abbott and saying people are probably a little bit over worried, you saw exactly some of the things highlighting where in spring training he was throwing his changeup in pretty much every count that he could. Like there was no real set time when he was going to throw it, which in reality, that pitch is primarily only going to be thrown to righties and usually only within 2 strike counts. And that's kind of what you saw. His cutter usage was down. He primarily stuck with the fastball, curveball, sweeper, whatever they call
Yeah,
that, which is how he's had success before. So it's kind of what we were expecting for him to get back to. Um, Overall, he pitched exactly how Andrew Abbott has pitched last year when he was doing all those good things. He gave the Reds the chance to stay in a game where Crochet was also having his own successes. So you can't really ask much for Andrew Abbott on an opening day start than what he gave the Reds there.
yeah. No, it's. I mean, if you would have looked at me and said that Andrew Abbott was going to go 6 scoreless, I would have been like, "Hey, we are going to be in this game." And it was weird because this game ends up 3-0, but it's 1-0 for most of the game. I don't know about you watching it, but me at the same, like, it never felt like the Reds were in it. It felt like the Red Sox were eventually going to. They had put so much traffic on the bases, and I mean, you look at the box score, they had 12 hits to our 4. Like a 3-0 loss, really, I think doesn't describe how I think this game went, and that's it. It's what makes it even better that we're able to take 2 of 3 from them because, like, I fully believe. I think I posted a short on the account that we got dominated all 9 innings, and then we turn around and take the next 2 games. Next thing I want to talk about, we already touched on it a little bit, but you can't when the base is loaded with Crochet late in the game, kind of on his heels. You cannot have back-to-back strikeouts from your 5 and 6 hitter, being Eugenio Suarez and Spencer Steer. Like that cannot happen. A ball has to get put in play. I understand that Suarez's whole thing. You've got to put a ball in play. One of you. You can't both go down via the strikeout.
Yeah, that is the risk that you run with Eugenio Suarez, though. That's been something his entire career where he is going to be susceptible to the strikeout. Now, Spencer Steer, you would hope, being the bat to ball guy that he is, he could figure out in that situation how to at least put some pressure on the defense and have a ball in play. But at the same time, you are still facing Garrett Crochet, and Garrett Crochet is not going to really ease up and throw some bad pitches when he's got bases loaded.
Yep.
So those are going to be tough at bats. Another thing from that game, though, is we kind of got our first taste of what the ABS system can do to change an
Yes.
inning.
Yeah.
Roman Anthony gets the strike reversed to a ball, and then they end up scoring 2 more
Two.
runs
Two
that inning
immediately. Yeah.
to make it 3-0, which going to face Chapman, 1-0 is tall enough. 3-0, pretty much the game's over.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the first taste of how ABS is going to impact some of these games. And it was a pretty good precursor for what the Reds were going to do in the next game as well.
Yeah, I think the last thing I'll kind of touch on in this game because I want to move past game one. If it was an opening day, I think we would have already been done with it. But some interesting decisions from Terry Francona from the dugout. I think the one that I thought was most interesting was it's the bottom of the 7th, 1 out, 1 on. Why in the world is Ke'Bryan Hayes taking it back? Like that made no sense to me. We pinch hit Benson for uh who do we for Marte. We pinch hit Benson for Marte, but then let Ke'Bryan Hayes take it at bat. That I was like I was sitting in my seat in shock that he was coming to the plate there, and I just like I don't know. That was the one moment throughout the entire game where I was just like, what are we doing? I would rather have Marte hit and then have Benson hit for Hayes. Like I don't know, especially with a guy like Nathaniel Lowe, who you pretty much made a spot for on this team. Like that's the perfect time for him to take his first at, at bat as a Red.
Yeah, now some of those decisions I think can be overblown because Melvin Marte could also very well strike out in that at bat because he hasn't had some of the greatest at bats so far this year. So I don't know. It's always kind of interesting to nitpick individual decisions like that because the whole main thing is that they did not capitalize with runners in scoring position um, when Suarez was up. They had some other chances, and that's just kind of how baseball goes. Um, so, would you like to see maybe some different decisions? Yes, but is that really something you can blame a loss on? It's I think it gets over dramatized by people, especially on red social media.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And that's kind of our jobs too, is to overanalyze every single decision. But that was the only one. Normally, a lot of times, I feel like when you analyze those, it's in the hindsight of it being 2020. I remember watching Hayes in the on deck circle when Benson was pinch hitting and being like, why is he even like standing there? Like, what he should not be hitting right now. This is not. I don't know. That was one that I disagreed with. But yeah, we'll move past game one because games two and three are much more fun to talk about. Game two, we get absolute fireworks. Our heart attack closer blows a save in the ninth, and then the Reds walk off the Boston Red Sox in the 11th inning. Welcome to Cincinnati, Dane Myers. How about that for your first win in Cincinnati?
Yeah, I remember telling people before that game, after opening day, since they're so nice to give us an off day immediately afterwards.
Mm,
I remember on that Friday telling people that games two and three are significantly better matchups, especially with Sonny Gray on the mound, because he's just not quite the pitcher that he was when he was here with the Reds. Um, his fastball doesn't play as well with his curveball that it did when he was here, and that's something that you saw kind of cost him when you have Sal Stewart, which I don't know, the Sal Stewart home run, I don't really know how he managed to get his hands inside that ball and put it out to right center field. I mean, that is some seriously impressive power to be able to hit that pitch to where he did. But that's kind of what I was expecting the Reds to do versus Sonny Gray. I was kind of expecting um, him to throw some fastballs and then to get touched up a bit. And so I'm glad that that is what we ended up seeing in that game.
Yeah, I was interested to see what we would see from Sonny Gray. I'm just making sure I have this right. It's like being very weird. Okay, for some reason the MLB box score is wrong on this game. I was like, I don't remember being down 3-1. That we were not. We jumped on them early. I don't know what the MLB box score is telling me right now. Anyway, um, a couple notes from this game. I got to watch a little bit of this, not too much, um, but was able to kind of follow along with it. Really, really nice to see the power early for Ellie De La Cruz. This is something we talked about all off season. Of he struggled in the power department last year. Hits an absolute laser homer in this game to get on the board for his first of the year. Um, yeah, no, I think that might be the single biggest takeaway from that game is okay, Ellie's hitting for power again. Like it took until game two for us to see. We saw it all spring training, but it's always a question mark. Is it going to translate? It looks like it is.
Yeah, well, I'd say not to get lost in that thought process. Matt McLean posted his highest ever career exit velo in a regular season baseball game when he doubled in the second inning. Uh, that was the first game that we saw. I was like, Matt McLean might be back. He
Yeah.
hit several balls hard that game. Um, so that was encouraging to see. But yeah, once again, Sal Stewart, he ended up this game. I think got him pitched around in today's game a little bit. He didn't really get too much to hit well,
Yeah.
and when he did, he still got on base. So I don't know. That just felt like a game that the Reds should win, and they ended up just doing exactly what they had to do. Now, did they make it more interesting than they should have? Yes, but it was also that situation in the extra innings. It was really nice to see that Connor Phillips is still who Connor Phillips was towards the end of last year. He came in that high leverage situation and managed to get 2 innings and keep them to not scoring a run, setting us up for a chance to win. I was really encouraged to see Connor Phillips being able to be in the zone and have his fastball and breaking pitch work and get the good results that he got.
Yeah, it's funny that we talk about Sal Stewart now because I have him a couple more times on my sheet here where I'm planning to bring him up. These are notes I took throughout the game, so it's funny to see like how they translate day to day. Because the next note I took is Sal Stewart the best hitter in this damn lineup? Because he might be like the best pure hitter in this lineup. Obviously, we look now at all three games. First is was the first Red ever to have multiple hits in all three of the first games of a year. That is ridiculous. This kid is a rookie. Like we're throwing him into the fire, and there's a lot of people like maybe we shouldn't be putting all this pressure on him. The kid just faced Crochet, Sonny Gray, and Connerly Early, who started Game 3 of it was a playoff a winner go home game, and he hasn't struck out yet. That's ridiculous. Like he has had two or more hits in every single game. I believe had two RBIs in this game, if I remember correctly. Yes, two RBIs. Also walked on base three of the five times he comes to the plate. Like, is this the best hitter in our lineup?
Well, I mean, if you look at what I said about him before the season started, you're not going to get too much of an argument out of me. I think that his ability to hit pitches everywhere in the zone, be able to utilize all gaps of the field, it's just he's got a hit tool that most people do not have. And to back up with that, he also has a power tool that not a lot of guys have. So if he stays zone disciplined and keeps this swing and miss rate down, I think that you're going to see a lot more what you saw this series from Sal Stewart, which another thing that I think was interesting to highlight in this game is the difference in philosophy on how teams are going to use the ABS. CB Buckner behind the plate, it was kind of known. I think they touched about it. Sam LeCure on the pregame show was talking about how CB Buckner might put up some early records on challenge usage. And the Red Sox ran out of their challenges within the first three
Yep.
innings of the game. And within those three
It was
innings,
Roman
there
Anthony,
was,
right?
I
I
believe
think he
so.
burned both of them. If I remember correctly, I think he burned both of them like early in the game.
Yeah, and there were some calls early on that the Reds probably could have challenged, but they kept them and waited for a better spot to use them. And then you get the Eugenio Suarez at bat where he strikes out twice, but not really because he challenges both of them. And the loudest pops from the crowd the entire game
Yeah,
come off of two challenged ABS calls.
it's electric,
So
man. Being in the stadiums, like seeing it on opening day, like it's sitting there just waiting for it. You see the pitch coming in, like ready to get, like you're sitting on the edge of your seat. It's a really good entertainment factor. It also helps the game a lot. But like when you're in the stadium and you're waiting to see if that ball's just barely gonna catch that little edge there, it's cool. It's cool to see.
yeah, it's also, I think, going to be a really humbling reality check for umpires because
Yes.
they're not used to, they don't have to answer to reporters after games. So, let alone have to sit in front of 40,000 people and have them see that they actually just missed a call on
Yep.
one of the most crucial parts of the game. So, I think after the first Suarez challenge, the second strike call was just CB Buckner being upset. And it just so happened Suarez challenges it again, and that one's even further off the plate,
Yep. Yeah.
which
The
is
first
funny
one was
enough until
like
Benson does it.
the first one's like okay, it missed. It was what like 0.3 of an inch. Like okay, that yes, that could you could have easily seen. The second one like wasn't even close. It was just like yeah, I'm gonna do that
Yeah.
again. CB, that's definitely not on. If the last one was off. Let's see what else do I got here. Are you concerned at all with the start we saw out of Brady Singer? Four innings,
Uh,
five hits, three earned runs, two walks, five Ks. Gave up a homer to Trevor Story, but it was a solo shot.
I think Francona kind of talked about how Singer hasn't been able to get his full reps in during the week because he was still kind of dealing with that finger blister. Uh, I think his stuff played about this, or his stuff was about the same as what it was last year. So I think a little bit of uncomfortableness with that blister and then not being able to get a full workload in leading up to the start. I don't think he didn't pitch bad. I
Yeah.
mean,
So
if
this
it's later in the season, he probably goes another inning and gives you 5 innings. 5 innings, 3 runs. It's not like that's not the end of the world out of a starter. So I don't think there's anything that was too concerning with him out of that start.
Yeah, I got done watching it and I was like, I was almost surprised to look at the box score and see, because like, just looking at the box score, it's like, dude, that's not a great start out of him. But I felt like he was commanding the game better than that. I felt like it was a better start than those numbers actually say. You mentioned the blister. There's also a wild pitch in there. Trevor Story gets him once. Like, it's a good Red Sox lineup. I'm really not worried about him. I don't think he's supposed to be our number two starter. Like, that just seems like that's not where he fits into this rotation. But no, I would agree with you. I'm not worried about him moving forward. I think he is. I think what he was last year is pretty much what we're gonna get. I mean, his FIP in that game alone was like, it's still high, but it's a whole run lower. Like, let's see on his next start. Is he's not gonna get one against Pittsburgh, right? Oh yeah, no, he won't. He'll
He
get
should not.
where do we go after that? Texas. We go to Texas. He'll probably get game one down in Texas. Let's see what else we got here. Let's talk about the guy that I seem to be way lower on than the rest of Reds fans and baseball fans, in my opinion. Of dude, what is it with Emilio Pagan and giving up? Like, I'm gonna keep calling him the heart attack closer. He's got to get. I understand that his whole thing is he's got that fastball that's got that rising action on it, but dude, you can't be giving up these long fly balls. Like, they're gonna leave in Cincinnati, and he's been burned on this multiple times, and Wilbur Abreu burns him again, a game tying homer in the ninth inning.
I think his main issue in this past two games that he's pitched, it's not so much his stuff. I think his stuff's still good. It's the location of where he's throwing these pitches. Um, the home run that he gave up to tie the game was pretty. It was not a good spot. Definitely not where you want to throw a pitch to a lefty. It was in that nitro zone of inside. It wasn't out of the zone. Like it didn't do enough to miss a barrel. And then the today with Monasterio, he throws another one that's down the middle. So I don't know.
I
I
mean,
think his main issue right now is where he's locating the ball inside the zone.
I'm looking at this pitch that he throws. So actually, funny enough, the pitch that he throws to Wilbur Abreu, it is an up and in splitter at 80 miles an hour. That is the pitch that he throws, with two outs in the ninth. Of like, he's doing the hands up. Like, how many times have we seen this out of Emilio Pagan? Like, I don't know what. I don't know. It, like, there's that. We'll talk about game three where it's like he hasn't come into a game yet for me, and I've been like, sweet, let's go. Like, he's about to close this thing down. Like, even the times where he goes out and dominates, it's like, I always feel like he's always just one pitch away from giving up the homer. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what the solution there is, but he comes in and strikes out the first two he sees and then throws an 80-mile-an-hour splitter up and into a lefty. Like, probably not where he wanted that pitch, but you can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, home runs in nature, like by nature, is a kind of a luck thing to an extent with pitchers. Um, but yeah, if you're going to be closing baseball games and your luck isn't good with home runs, should you really be closing baseball games? Probably not. Uh, I think the Reds will give him a longer leash than the fans will as far as it comes to that because of one, for the money that they gave him, and two, you don't, who else at this moment are you really going to put
Nah,
there? Like
nobody. Like,
Santion
no.
hasn't
Well,
been,
no.
this
So
hasn't
I
played
will. I
well.
want to talk about him more game three because I've got some question marks with him too. Like, now there's no one that you replace him with because I don't think it's to replacement yet. But it's definitely something to keep your eye on as the season goes on. Of, is it? It's hard to have a good closer in this league. There's very few of them that come into the game and it's like, this game's over. Like Mason Miller, Edwin Diaz. The list kind of stops there. Like, after that, it's kind of like,
Or oldest Chapman.
Chapman last year, yes, but there's been some years of Chapman where it's like I don't know. So yeah, we'll throw Chapman in there right now. Like, do you want to throw like a Munoz in there? I would probably throw Munoz in there. Maybe Suarez. Like there's some top tier ones. I feel like I'm missing someone big here, but I don't know. I just feel like I'm always on the edge of my seat whenever he's coming into a game. Like I wish I had more faith in my closer. Maybe that's just me being a Reds fan and expecting them to do something stupid. But yeah, other than that, the bullpens looked good this year. I'll touch on a little bit of the Tony Santos stuff when we move into here to Game 3. Game 3, the rubber match played. We're actually filming this on Sunday night, so it played earlier today. Between Connor Lee Early and Rhett Lauder. First, let's just start with Rhett Lauder. Wow, this is what we've been waiting. Like this is what we were hoping for, especially coming off an injury riddled season last year. Like it was very interested to see how he started this year, and outside of one pitch to Wilbur Abreu, he was lights out today.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with him is when he was coming out of college, he was seen as a pretty complete pitcher already, and I think, uh, like you said, outside of the one pitch that got hit out of the yard,
Oh, it's a
he
bad one.
had pretty good he had pretty good command of that game. He pitched well. He gave him pretty much exactly what you were hoping for, and then some more because I think that there were still some people a bit skeptical because he hasn't been on a big league mound in a year. But I mean, after today, I don't see why he can't be a good major league pitcher. So I think all signs for him were pretty encouraging, especially considering some of the circumstances of there's questions if he was even going to be on the opening day roster. He gets moved in there from injuries and kept the team in the game and gave him a chance to win.
Yeah, how about that? Goes from questionable if he's even going to make the opening day roster to hey, you're starting the rubber match against the Red Sox opening series. Um, again, I just watched the clip of the Wilbur Homer, 86 slider up and in. Can we stop throwing Wilbur Abreu pitches up and in? The teams that are playing him next, please don't throw him anything up and in. He's going to hammer it. Um, those 2 runs are the only runs for the Red Sox. Let's talk about the 3 runs that the Reds get because Eugenio Suarez is back, baby. A 3-run homer in the bottom of the 6th, the only other run scored this game. Justin, I don't know if you caught a chance to see this yet. It is an absolute bomb into the second deck out in left center.
Yeah, I saw the clip on Twitter pretty soon after it happened, and it just felt like Suarez needed a moment like that because he hasn't been he hasn't been great in the opening days, but once again
So
we are
he
only three
had
games in the season.
they kept talking about the wind as the game was going on, and it was earlier in the game. I don't remember what inning it was, but he had a long fly ball to center field, which I believe the exit velo on that was like very similar to the one that he hit out, and it a little jump in center field at the 404 sign to make the catch, but like he probably should have had 2 homers today. That first one probably should have left, but that wind blowing in from like that weird Cincinnati blowing in ish from right center seemed to kind of kill it. But it was good enough where it blew it straight out to left. I believe it was 432 feet. I believe is what it was. 109 off the bat. Good to see him get his first of the year.
Yeah, and the flyout he had earlier in the game, I believe it was 109.6, and
Mm-hmm.
109.6 under a 40-degree launch should be a home run every single
That should be
time, no
going
matter
off
what
of the
park you're
batter's eye.
playing
Like
in.
I don't know what the hell happened on that one.
Yeah, so that is some of the luck of the draw that you get with baseball. So Suarez could have very easily had 2 home runs today, but it didn't matter. He gets caught. He comes up in another huge situation, and he does exactly what the Reds are paying him to do. He hits a ball into the second deck in left field, into the bleachers, and that gives the Reds all the runs that they needed, which just goes to show if this is last year's Reds team, they probably don't win that game because they don't really
Yeah.
have a guy that can come up in that situation, and you're like, oh, this dude could hit a homer. And sure enough, he gets into a big situation, makes up for the one that he had on opening day where he didn't capitalize bases loaded, and he hits one way out of the ballpark.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of the thing that you needed to see from Suarez to be like, okay, I think he's here. I think he's going to start to get more settled in, more comfortable. He probably had like some emotions coming back to Cincinnati. His daughter's favorite team, city that he played in for a while. Probably a little bit of nerves, a little bit of pressure, like coming back and like, oh, this guy's supposed to be a dude for us. And then he gets the right pitch, which very questionable 0-2 pitch to throw a middle fastball to a power hitter. But I'm not going to complain. And he did exactly what we're paying him to do with it.
I was gonna say I believe it was a little I think it was almost in the same spot that we keep throwing balls to. No, it's pretty middle. Uh, it's a little in. I mean, it's right in his wheelhouse. It's right where Suarez is looking for. Yeah, very interesting pitch there. Who was pitching at that time? Is it?
Weissert.
It's Greg Weissert. It's on the mound. All right. Yeah. I see. It's funny. I don't know if you saw the Tito clip from after the game, but he said exactly that. He doesn't think the Reds last year win this game. The literally exact words that you just said is, "I don't think this team last year wins that game. This is why we brought in Eugenio Suarez," and it is. It's exactly why we brought him in. We knew there was going to be strikeouts. We knew there was probably going to be a low batting average, but these are the moments that we need him because last year this is what in the 5 hole we're seeing Stevenson or Steger take that up at
Something like that, yeah.
maybe Benson depending on the lineup. Like not exactly a
Something like that.
Eugenio Suarez who's about to launch a ball into the second deck. Got some notes from this game. We did a pretty good job at it against Sonny Gray, but that lineup we have to get the starting pitchers better. We just there's I understand with Crochet, but Connerly early I feel like it's a guy that like we should be hitting around a little bit earlier than we did. Because we never really did. He only gave up one. Only one of those runs was his. Through 5 1/3, 6 Ks. Like w- they've got to get to starting pitching quicker. They just have to.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very, very small sample size to use that. That's something I'm sure they probably know that as well, that you got to get into bullpens, especially once we get later in the year and these starters are more stretched out and they're going to pitch into that 90, 100 range and be able to get another extra inning that they aren't getting at this point of the season. Um, Now, I mean, the thing is, like they are having good at there's guys having good at
Yeah.
bats against like other pit. So you just have to figure that eventually it will come time that these good at bats will get strung together against the starters as well. And once they start doing that, then you get more comfortable where you're not going to pitch drought in like the fifth inning. You have three-ish runs. Your starting pitching is good enough that they're probably going to be right around the same or a little bit less than that. And then you give the ball over to your bullpen, which I think from most accounts, most Reds fans believe that this is a decent bullpen. Um,
Four scoreless today.
yeah, like the pitching this opening series was it was like pretty solid all around. There's a couple there's a couple pitches that got away and the Red Sox do damage, but that's going to happen when you're playing a lineup with quality players pretty much 1 through 9. So I think the pitching gave the Reds a chance to win every single game in this series, and that's really all you ask for from a pitching staff. And then it's on the offense to capitalize on their opportunities. And there's signs that point that the Reds are going to capitalize on those opportunities. Matt McLean is not swinging and missing as much as he was
Mm-hmm.
last year in this opening
That shoulder
series.
looks healthy.
He's posting some high exit velos. Sal Stewart's doing what I was hoping Sal Stewart would do, and then it's just going to come to some of the other guys start getting hot. Like, does TJ Friedel, is he able to get on base? Ellie, you kind of know what you're going to get from him. He's kind of he hasn't played as well as some people probably have hoped, but he's definitely not doing terrible. I mean, he hits a homer today. That was or that yesterday, whatever day. They're
Yeah,
blending
yesterday.
together. Yesterday, he hits the homer. It's absolutely smashed. So yeah, I think things are looking up.
Yeah, Ellie today 0 for 4, 3 Ks. Like so, not great today. Those at bats were not particularly competitive either, but he was hitting right-handed for a lot of it. So I tend to cut him more slack when he's hitting right-handed than when he's hitting left-handed. I do want to talk about some of these great at bats. Um, mentioned that he might be the best hitter in our lineup. What about just the best hitter in all of baseball? Is that too early and crazy to say about Sal Stewart? Because this dude's incredible. Like this dude is actually. You're gonna laugh because I mentioned this. So far, he is what I thought CES was gonna be.
Yeah, but I think Sal Stewart had a little bit more hype than CES did coming up, and I don't know. It's definitely easy to say that so far in the early 3 games of the season, he is probably one of the best hitters in the league.
He's hitting
I mean,
700.
you can't really ask much more from the guy. And this is with him taking a 110-mile-an-hour line drive
Oh
off the
my god,
wrist
dude! You,
in
I
the game
wish,
one.
I wish that there was a video of me from my buddies sitting with me during the game because when I saw that live, I literally was just like head in hands, like hunched over. I was like, no, anyone but him. Please. Like, why? Why does South Stewart have to get smoked in the wrist? Could not believe that he stayed in that game. But yeah, 7 for 10 with what? Four extra base
Homer,
hits?
yeah, he
Yeah,
had a
four.
homer,
Homer and three
double opening
doubles.
day.
He had 2 doubles on opening day and one more today, and then a homer yesterday. Unreal. Like that. What a start from Sal Stewart. I don't think gonna make a bold prediction here. I don't think he hits 700 the rest of the year. Could, could, probably won't. But an early favorite for NL Rookie of the Year, as one of us on this show. That guy. Predicted in our opening day episode. If you haven't checked out the opening day episode, go look at that. Um, let's talk about Tony Santiano a little bit because what the hell is going on with him? Why, after about the first hitter or two, can he no longer find the zone? 2 walks. I believe he had 2 walks in game 2 and 2 walks today. What is going on?
Yeah, I mean, I say yeah pretty much every time you come to me, so that's something we're noticing. But huh, it seems like his velo's obviously down, but I think that this was a similar situation last year where to start the season his velo was down a little bit, and then we got into the warmer months, and that's when Tony Santillan became the Tony Santillan that was coming in the eighth inning and slamming it right in people's faces. So I don't know. I'd like to see more than 2 appearances out of him before I start getting worried about his stuff. If it's
I'm
three
not
weeks from
worried.
now,
I'm not really worried about his stuff right now. I'm worried about why the hell these aren't like close misses. Like he is not even near the. All of a sudden, they were talking about it on the broadcast today. They're like, "Well, it looks a lot better today. Like he started out good yesterday, then the wheels were starting to fall off, and then all of a sudden, like they were like, oh, here it goes again. Like he walks back to back guys, then gives up a double off the wall. It's like, or no, single. Sorry, single to Dane Myers on a dive in the center. But it was like, okay, what is going on? He is just it's not even near the zone, and when it is, it's right down the middle. I don't know. It was weird to see today.
I kind of feel like though, if he's not throwing as hard as he usually is, his off speed's probably not breaking the same that it was last year at this point. So you kind of get into like a weird realm of maybe he's thinking, oh, my velo's not up as where it should be. So I kind of have to locate these pitches more. And he could be thinking more about locating instead of just throwing the ball. And that gets pitchers into a whole lot of trouble when they're trying to make a perfect pitch instead of just executing the way that they think or like the way that they should. And I think if his velo comes back, which we have no reason to say that his velo is not going to come back, because we've seen it before where early starts in the season, it's colder, weird weather fluctuations, they're not fully built up yet. You can see velo's not as high as where they're going to be later in the year. Like I said, if you give it 2 weeks and he's coming out and he's still throwing 93, then it might get a bit questionable. But if he gets back up to the 97 range and starts to have more confidence that he can throw that fastball and get it by guys, it probably cuts down some of these issues of him missing the zone and thinking too much,
Yeah.
which I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we hear something out of Derek Johnson or Terry Francona sometime soon telling, yeah, we're telling Santillan he just needs to have that bulldog mentality last year. And it's like, I'm going to throw this pitch and you're not going to hit it. And I think if we get back to that Tony Santillan, this bullpen gets even better than it's shown early on in the season.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't be surprised if there's already something out. Well, there's a clip from MLB of Terry Francona on Suarez and Santillan and Reds win. So I'm gonna assume there's probably something in there. Um, Something about Mike Napoli is in here. Like what is going on here? Um, yeah. I don't. There is one other thing I do want to talk about from this game, and it is again Emilio Pagan, because what the hell? We're in the ninth. You were up by one. Like, this is where we need our closer. This is where it's like we need one, two, three, make it quick. And old friend Andrew Monasterio decides to hit a double down the line. And then it's like, holy shit, we're a single away from him blowing his second save in 2 days. Like, what? Can we stop doing this? Like, do we have to have traffic? Can we ever? When is the first game that we're gonna have a clean ninth?
It all goes back to location. If you look at the location of the pitch that Monasterio hit, it's pretty center cut. It's not where his stuff plays. His
Yeah,
fastball
so
plays
it's
best up at the top
94
of the
middle
zone.
in.
His fastball plays best up at the top of the zone, out of the zone, and that splitter plays best below the zone. And then you have the cutter to try and get guys off of those two
That
pitches.
damn fucking
When he's
cutter. He
when he's
needs to
not
stop throwing that. I don't know why he throws it.
it's just that when he's not locating properly, he loses the advantage that he has with those pitches, and it's got him into trouble the first two games. You kind of hope that as the season goes on, he starts living more up in the zone and below the zone instead of right down the middle.
Yeah. That's kind of the wrap up for this first series. I do want to talk about some of the overall thoughts. So we talked about Stewart even better than we expected, hoping he stays hot. Suarez did exactly what we signed him for, like almost to the T of what we expected him to do this series. And starting pitching being incredible even while banged up. Touched on it a little bit. I do want to touch on Matt McLean. Looks like he's back to himself. That shoulder looks healthy. Put together some good at bats. Also, funny enough, not wearing high socks anymore. I know they touched on that on the broadcast today. He's got the tweener look going. Apparently, Ellie De La Cruz told him he has no drip, and so he convinced him to wear long pants. But then they kind of met in the middle at that cut off tweener look. So it's always fun.
Yeah, I mean, there's a special connection between Ellie and McLean going all the way back to the minors, so it's always fun to see them interacting with each other on the baseball field, and it's even better when they're winning baseball games.
Yep. All right. One more thing I will give from you here. I can give mine first. I think we're probably gonna have the same answer on this. Series one. I think for every series we'll give an MVP of the series. So I'll kick it to you. I think this is a pretty easy answer. Who is your MVP from series one? Actually, you could go two ways with this. I think.
Um, I'll give one answer and then I'll give a sleeper answer.
So yeah,
I'll say Sal Stewart is probably the MVP. I mean, hitting 700 in the series is going to get you some serious looks when it comes to most valuable player. However, if I was to go with a dark horse, I would say Connor Phillips.
ooh, not the dark horse I thought you were gonna give. All right.
I mean, him if he doesn't come in the 10th and 11th inning and do what he does there, the Reds very easily lose that game.
Yeah.
And now instead of coming into a rubber match, you're trying to avoid a sweep, and that's a very different mental space for a
Yeah.
team. So I think those two innings out of Connor Phillips, where he's able to strand the Manfred runner at second base, that is, I think, almost defined how Game Three went as well.
All right, I will give my MVP pick for the series, which I'm going to keep it very simple and boring. It is Sal Stewart. There is no real, I think, debate about this. He was the best player in this series, I think, on both sides. I know Roman Anthony had a good series as well. Wilbur Abreu had a good series. I know that as well. Hate that guy. Um, but I would give it to Sal Stewart. But I do have also a dark horse, kind of the same thinking as you, but went a different way. And my little dark horse MVP of the series will be Eugenio Suarez, because without him hitting these monster 3-run homer, the Reds would be shut out again. They'd be shut out 2 of the 3 games they played and barely escaping with a win in game 2. Like, I think we'd have a much different thought about this series. Even though we wouldn't have gotten swept, it would have been like, man, we really should have gotten swept. Like, we very easily could have gotten swept here. And we take 2 of 3 and we're going to take it and run. That's my dark horse.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could also frame it if you look at that sixth inning versus Crochet, one hit there, and there's a chance that we sweep the Red Sox. So
Yeah, but
like,
they should, that game shouldn't have even been close. That game should not have been like, it should have been 7-0 at that point. But it's
But
baseball.
I think
It's baseball.
that's just a testament that the Reds, like, they kept themselves in all those games. They
Yeah.
had game one, they had the chance to win. Game two, they seized the opportunity and stole victory from the jaws of defeat after giving up that tying run in the ninth. And then game three, you kind of see why the home run ball is a difference maker.
Yeah, great to see us get a win after a blown save. That's always nice. I got nothing else from the series. Do you have anything else to add?
Uh, I'm glad that I don't have to see Marcelo Meyer playing in Great American for a long time
I'm
as
glad I
well.
don't have to see Wilbur Abreu playing in Great American for a long time. Um, yeah, no, we'll kind of wrap that up there. We won't touch on the Pirates series. We might have an episode coming out before the Pirates series. Might not. I don't know how our schedules look. It's gonna be tight. I mean, we're both pretty busy, and that series does start tomorrow. Correct? Yes, they play tomorrow.
Monday
Um,
at 6:40.
Yeah, so we'll see. We might have a little pregame show. If you guys enjoyed this and enjoyed some of the other videos that we have posted, like the opening day one, if you haven't watched it, go back and watch it. But if you enjoyed it, make sure to let us know. If we missed anything in the series at all, let us know down in the comments below. We would love to hear your guys' feedback and what your thoughts are after a 2-1 start to the 2026 season. But yeah, I got nothing else, Justin. I think all good on your end. So for the time being, that is all we have. We will see you guys next time here on Let's Talk Reds. Thank you guys for watching this episode of Let's Talk Reds. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit like and subscribe down below. Also, leave a comment letting us know what you think we missed or points you would like to see us make in a future episode. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more just like it, click on one of the videos on your screen right now, and let's go Reds.